Among Muslims, there are some who advocate the philosophy of Rumi, some who claim wine that is unlawful by religion is lawful, and some who support the fallacy of Darwinism that denies the fact that God created everything and misrepresents Islam. This wrongful understanding of Islam advocated by some is dangerous for all Islamic world. Muslims should be very cautious against this attempt to disseminate a philosophy that misrepresents Islam.
Quilliam Foundation, a London-based think tank. In an exhibition held by this foundation that is supposedly serving Muslims, information about man-to-man sexual relations praised in the works claimed to belong to Mewlana is explained. The foundation advocates Rumism and Darwinism. In the panel organized by the Quilliam Foundation on April 21, 2016, with the name Sexual Diversity Within Islam, homosexuality has been discussed. Well-known homosexuals in England who present themselves as Muslims have attended this panel as panelists. One of the founders of the foundation, Majid Nawaz, who advocates Rumism and Darwinism, promoted this panel that propagates homosexuality in his social media account with the following words.
Panelists in Quilliam Foundation's panel about homosexuality. Asif Lahore, a transsexual known with his theater plays about homosexuality. He runs a nightclub where homosexuals frequently visit. He is known to be one of the most preeminent homosexuals of England.
Arya Alaga. He is a homosexual social media expert living in London. His family is from Iran. He was born in the UK. In his adolescence, he had relations with men both from Iran and the UK. He is striving to make LGBT members regarded as legitimate within the Muslim world.
Kakan Qureshi. His father is one of the founders of Birmingham Central Mosque. He claims that he has been living a homosexual lifestyle since he was 22. With his writings, with the programs he attends, and his statements, he is one of those who constantly keep homosexuality on the agenda. He founded a number of institutions propagandizing homosexuality.
Peter Tatchell. He is one of the most well-known homosexuals active in England who conducts joint works with the Quilliam team. He works with the popular Tell Mama organization that advocates homosexuals. Since 1967, he has carried out activities that encourage and propagate homosexuality. He conducts organized studies to legitimize same-sex marriages in many countries.
Matt Oxton. He is one of the widely known homosexuals of England who lived in London with a man named Naz while he was 23 years old. He founded a foundation named Naz and Matt Foundation after his partner Naz committed suicide. The foundation advocates homosexuality and carries out activities to legitimize homosexuality. The mission of this foundation is, as declared on their website, to empower and support LGBTQI, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex individuals, their friends and family to work towards resolving challenges linked to sexuality or gender identity. Naz and Matt Foundation also supported Quilliam Foundation's exhibition named Sexuality in Islam, which gives voice to homosexuality. Another field Quilliam Foundation is active about just as much as giving voice to homosexuality is Darwinism propaganda. People appearing as Muslims are sent across the world by means of this foundation and advocate Darwinism and materialism. Although there is not a single word that validates the claim of evolution of living things in the Quran, they are preaching Darwinism as if it compiles with the Quran.
Ed Hussein, founder of the Quilliam Foundation. The real name of Ed Hussein, who comes from a Bangladeshi family, is Muhammad Mahbub Hussein. Since he doesn't want to use the name of our Prophet ﷺ, may God forbid, he prefers the name Ed. He advocates Rumism. Some information Ed Hussein gives about himself. My inner consciousness of God hit an all-time low. The presence of God in my life was lost. I had lost the essence of Islam. For all my ostentatious commitment to Islam and Muslims, all my desires to bring out a Quranic government, I had lost touch with its Islam's holy book.
Majid Nawaz. Born in England, he is of Pakistani origin. He is one of the founders of Quilliam Foundation and Ed Hussein's partner. He shares caricatures about the Prophet Jesus and God, may God forbid, in his Twitter account that are offensive for Muslims. He advocates Rumism. He made a statement saying, Islam is not a religion of war, but it is not a religion of peace. On July 2014, his video taken in a striptease club was revealed in England. One of the most significant characteristics of Majid Nawaz is that he constantly keeps homosexuality on the agenda. In many programs he attends, and in the columns he writes, he explains homosexuality and advocates that it is not incompatible with Islam. For instance, in one of the shows he attended on BBC program in 2014 named Can You Be Gay and Muslim, Majid Nawaz claims that being opposed to premarital sex and homosexuality is a bigoted mindset and states that all sorts of homosexual relations and homosexual marriage should be accepted by Muslims. In a recent article, Majid Nawaz makes the claim, "Why does gay sex scare modern Muslims? It didn't in the Golden Age." In this article, he uses a picture of two men lip to lip. In this article, while Majid Nawaz claims that many so-called Islamic scholars regard homosexuality as normal, he uses Mewlana as a reference to this. In his own way, he uses the profound passion and love that the person claimed to be Mewlana has expressed in his works for Shams al-Din Tabriz as an evidence.
Usama Hasan, just like it is claimed in the books that are claimed to be Mewlana's, he claims that the theory of evolution is compatible with Islam. He claims that the origin of life might have come from the space. He advocates Rumism.
Tell Mama Foundation and Fiyaz Mughal. The foundation that presents itself as seemingly an organization reporting the attacks against Muslims is known with its defending homosexuals. The foundation carries out joint activities with Quillen Foundation. On July 9, 2014, Tell Mama and its executive Fiyaz Mughal held a meeting in Quillen. The topic discussed in this meeting was about choosing a method that will collect information about Muslims. Usama Hasan also attended this meeting. Fiyaz Mughal, the founder of this foundation, is known for his support for homosexuals in the social media. Fiyaz Mughal, who is in close contact with England's well-known homosexuals, Peter Tatchell, praises a person who participated in the gay parade in London and called himself the oldest gay and describes him as an amazing person. Sayyida Warsi is another of the supporters of Tell Mama Foundation. The most significant common characteristic of Sayyida Warsi has with this circle, who was the first Muslim female minister in the UK government, is the support she gives to homosexuals.
Sayyida Warsi. Sayyida Warsi, who is the so-called representative of Muslims in the British Parliament, openly advocates homosexuality, God deemed unlawful, and in her own twisted mind, argues that Muslims should advocate homosexuality as well in order to become modern. For instance, in the interview she gave to Daily Mail, she says that Muslims are progressive about gay rights and, in her own way, tries to lead Muslims in this field. Sayyida Warsi, who said, "There is social conservatism, maybe even social intolerance, but most religious communities on the issue of homosexuality have been on a journey on this. So has my own party. So has the Church of England," shared the following message in her social media webpage. "The journey from homophobia to gay rights is one we have all been on, including the Tory party, the Church, and the Muslims."
All this information shows us how a conscious movement is carried out to disseminate homosexuality that got deemed unlawful in the Islamic world. Muslims should be very cautious against this attempt to disseminate a philosophy that misrepresents Islam.